Hey, um, desert islands. I, desert islands. I love desert islands. Apparently, I've been playing Miasmata. I just finished it. Like I just did the main objective the game presents you with, and I mean, no, I'm not going to say what happens at the end. It doesn't really matter, but whatever. I finished the game. Credits rolled. That's over. There's still achievements to get. I'm still kind of curious about some stuff I missed, but whatever. Point is, you're on a desert island. It's a first-person game, first-person adventure. You are Robert Hughes, like a botanist in the early 20th century. You wake up in the ocean, like just you wash up on shore. There's a brief bit of like, I guess you could call it a cutscene or something. There's some words on the screen explains what's going on, like kind of the setup. You are sick. You have a plague. You want to cure that plague. Obviously, no one wants to be sick. And there you go. You're on an island. Let's go. That is it. It just sets up, hey, here's the premise. Go figure it out. Now, what the game mostly entails is you trying to find your way around this bizarre, kind of mysterious island. It's got Mysterious Island, another great piece of island fiction. Jules Verne, huh? Yeah, Ray Harryhausen movie. Whatever. Herbert Lom's in it. Islands, man, islands. So you're exploring this island. There's like statues and stuff. There's old ruins. There's camps from like this other group of scientists that were there, trying to figure out the same cure to the same thing. They're gone. They're like either dead or missing, and you find scraps of notes, maps and stuff. And yeah, you're basically trying to piece together like what is the layout of this island so I can successfully find plants and then make medicine. There's several different medicines you can make. There's just, hey, this heals me. But there's also like boosters, essentially, like stat boosts that make your guy less weak. Like Robert Hughes is ill. He cannot swim very well. His stamina is like really terrible in terms of running around and stuff. Like dude is not doing well. So you can make stuff to counteract all that. The main thing you're trying to do is make 3 key ingredients to make a cure. Now, the way this actually works out is almost like arcade simple. Like it is like, there's basically just a game board, and you have a simple set of rules, like a simple set of mechanics you can use, and I played it for 23 hours. Like, that's how long it took for me to complete the main objective, but it is such a simple objective. Like, it's just like, the difference, I guess, like, this could be like a Skyrim quest or something, like, hey, go get these plants. Like, there's plants everywhere in Skyrim as well, or like Red Dead, there's plants everywhere. Difference, though, that game just tells you where all that stuff is. Like, it's just like, hey, go over here. There's a waypoint. Go right here. This game is all about getting lost, essentially. Like, this game is about wandering around, trying to figure out where you are, looking at the environment, looking at, like, places you've seen before, and trying to be like, all right, well, if that's over there, and that's over there, that means, okay, triangulating. Like, you are filling in your map by using actual cartography type stuff, which is, it's so weird how rewarding it is, because like it's just like a little tiny like inch by inch section of your map fills in, and you just feel awesome. Like, it's just like, yes, I did it, I figured out where stuff is in relation to other stuff, and now I can find my way back here and leave here more reliably. Like, it is like kind of like Gone Home, which I played earlier this week. A series of small victories, but all of them are yours. Like, you succeeded. You did it. You did the thing. There's no cutscene or whatever. There's no other characters coming in and doing stuff. You did all the stuff that resulted in that extra bit of information or that plant being discovered. Finding a new plant is exciting. Like, you're just like, oh, I've never seen this before. And you like crawl over there. Some of them you can't pick up. Like, there's other fauna and stuff that's just like, hey, it's an interesting leaf or something, but Robert Hughes knows his stuff, I guess. He's not interested in those. But when you find like something you can actually pick up, something you can use, crazy exciting. Like, way more exciting than it should be, considering you were essentially just walking around picking up flowers. Like, that is the game. Sorry, that keeps shadowing. Should stop moving around. I'm just gonna sit down. Alright. So, you're collecting flowers. piecing together your map. Now, there's a twist to this. I feel kind of bad saying what it is because it's a great surprise, but it's in literally every... Like, if you've seen the trailer, plus this came out months ago, there's a creature stalking you. There is a sort of souped-up panther that is stalking you while you're doing this. Well, I don't know if it's actually stalking you or it's just wandering around the island, and if you get too close to it, it'll be like, that is more interesting than whatever I was doing. I'm going to eat that guy. So there is a threat on the island. And that you have, like, this kind of just simple, mundane activities of kind of, like, triangulating stuff and looking around, like, at the ground, essentially, for plants. There's so many great opportunities for you to kind of, like, be looking at your map or looking in your journal, and then you look up and see the creature, and it's just flip out, like, just like, oh, crap, and then you start running, and that's another unique, awesome thing with this game. Walking around, this is the best example of first-person movement, like, I've ever played. Like, it is the most similar to actually walking around in a first-person experience like I've ever had. Momentum is key. Like, there were so many times where I was, like, running through the jungle, creatures behind me, or I'm just kind of impatient in a hurry. There's a ledge. Try to stop. Back. Slide off the thing. Tumble, roll. Like, basically the environment, navigating the jungle successfully is the main obstacle in the game. You just need to get through a jungle. Like, it is an adventure through the jungle. And it feels like a jungle. And it's like hiking, essentially. Like, just like, I gotta get up to this mountain. Like, I've heard there's a different kind of plant behind this mountain, so I gotta go there. Open world navigation. Like, I don't know how big the island actually is in relation to, like, your average open world experience. Like, big popular titles like Skyrim or Fallout or, Dead Island or Far Cry 3 or whatever. Like, I don't know how big it actually is, but you explore all of it and you discover all of it, like, yourself. Like, so you're just kind of, it feels huge because you have no idea how big it is at the start. Like, there's essentially fog of war on your map and you are just filling it in little piece by little piece, getting turned around, running up and down the same coast or whatever. Like, there's all sorts of opportunities to just get lost. But it's exciting. It's exciting to get lost, because then when you find your way, it's you. Like, you were the guy who got lost in the first place, but then you also figured out where you were at. Or if you don't, like, there were several times where I would, like, there's a day-night cycle as well. So you go out in the middle of the night. No, you don't intentionally go out in the middle of the night. You're off foraging all day. Eventually, you are like, oh crap, it's like 8 p.m. I gotta get back to a cabin or a tent or something. Like, what am I gonna do? You're on your way up the coast. You eventually find a waypoint you're familiar with. You check it. You look at your map, and then you realize you're in the middle of nowhere, or you have no idea where you are. And it's just like, all right, well, I gotta get through the night. Like, there were several nights where I just had to kind of, like, sit there drinking fresh water and just kind of nervously looking around for the creature and hoping Robert Hughes held out, because, like, dude's sick, right? So his health is kind of constantly going down if you don't sleep periodically. And yeah, no, that's fantastic. I will say, like, there's definitely some quirks to the game, like, it's kind of the systems it chooses to represent versus those it doesn't. You need to worry about water and sleeping. Food, don't worry about that. Like, I spent over a month on the island, didn't eat ever. Dude's fine. Like, like, there's little, like, they couldn't account for everything a real human has to contend with, but there's just enough to keep you busy so that when those moments of kind of, like, panic or, like, excitement of finding something feels rewarding enough without, being too crazy, like, too stressful. Like, some sort of hardcore mode or something where it's just like, no, dude, you gotta manage your health, you gotta manage, like, all these other, like, like, there's also a system in place where you can stock plants you find, and it'll be like a shared inventory between every single, like, checkpoint, essentially, like every single safe house. That's kind of silly, but, you kind of just have to realize, like, how frustrating would this game be if it's like, oh yeah, I found that super rare flower, and I put it in the southwest point, and I'm now way up here on the other side of the island. Awesome. I have to walk down there to even do the experiment. Like, that would get tiresome. I guess the compromise could be, hey, you have a backpack. Like, there were several times playing the game where I was just like, why doesn't Robert Hughes just have a backpack or make a satchel of some kind or something. Like, you can only hold 3 flowers at the same time. Like, 3 plants. There's roots and other stuff, too. So, that stuff seems kind of arbitrary, but, you know, you kind of just get used to the constraints of the game, and then I just got into it anyway. Like, it was just like, hey, this is just the way this is. Enough of this is kind of tapping into that Far Cry 2 environment stuff. Or, you know, like, honestly, Far Cry is my favorite comparison piece. Like, not even just Far Cry 2, because that's African savanna. This is an island. Like, you're on an island. It takes a lot of time just kind of being like, hey, you know, look at these forests, look at these trees, look at this sunset. Like, there's some great sunset moments in this game where you're just kind of like wandering along, and then you kind of see like, oh, look at that, sun's going down, and then you slowly realize, oh crap, I'm outside and the sun's going down. I gotta get back. Like, you know, like, there's great just environmental feedback on all that stuff, and like, you know, good audio and stuff. Like, sometimes it gets a little repetitive. You notice like, okay, that's the same breathing sample over and over or whatever. But like Robert Hughes labored, sick breathing, like just like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, like, you know, you hear the same stuff. He doesn't talk actually ever, so that was a slight misrepresentation. Interestingly, this game is made by 2 people, Bob Johnson and Joe Johnson. They made their own engine to make this game, so you kind of like, I kind of just have to give it to them on some sense. Like, it's just like, wow, you guys built all of this thing, like everything about this, like the physics I'm experiencing here, those are made by those guys. Like, the water effects, all of it is made by those guys. So there are a few glitches here and there. There's a few kind of like weird looking wonky textures here and there. Like, you know, occasionally amongst the thousands of trees that they've put there, you'll find one that isn't going all the way to the ground. It looks a little weird. Or like, at some point my journal just started, like, it's a pretty nice interface. Like, it is like, you know, I guess again, Far Cry 2, like, you hold up a map, you know, in that game, but it again has waypoints and stuff. Like, this is like, what if that kind of mentality was 100 years before that and you didn't have GPS or any of that? That's kind of what you're dealing with here. But yeah, you hold up your journal, you hold up your map in front of your face, and then you're kind of like turning through the pages and stuff. Pages started like clipping through each other sometimes, so I like see stuff behind, like, from the status main, like, first page, you'd see stuff just kind of bleeding over onto other pages, which is kind of weird. So yeah, like, there's little technical hiccups here and there, nothing game breaking. Like, you know, there's like little things here and there, like when you come upon a new cabin, like a music cue will happen and it'll start playing a little bit of music. It just kind of pauses every time, at least it did on this computer. Every time you're getting near one, it'll just kind of hitch, and you're just like, what? Oh, I must be near something important, like I must be near a safe house. Or occasionally there was, I think it was another audio glitch. Or, you know, like, or you pause the game and it'll just keep looping the sound effect that your dude was making just before you pause, and that'll get kind of annoying. But whatever, there's like little technical hiccups here and there. But again, 2 dudes, like, literally they're the only dudes in the credits. They thank their parents and their cat. That is it. Like, 2 people made this game over like 4 years or something. So it's pretty impressive technical achievement in a way. Like, and it looks pretty nice. Like, a lot of the times I was just kind of like marveling at, like, wow, yeah, the sun's coming through the canopy of this forest and kind of hitting all these leaves and stuff. Like, there's some nice, serene nature stuff in this game. So, you know, visually I was actually totally fine with the game, and like, knowing its origins helps a bit, but I would still say, like, this is an interesting structure for a game, and it looks okay. Like, it looks pretty good. So, you know, if your computer can deal with this thing, I totally recommend checking it out. It's $15, I think. Miasmata is $15. I paid about half that. I think it was the winter sale or something. Like, I did buy it a while ago, but I just haven't had an opportunity to check it out until now, and I'm glad I did. Like, it is rewarding. Like, again, I don't know, I don't, 23 hours is probably too long. Like, there are achievements in there that say, like, hey, you can beat this in 3 days, like 3 in-game days, or like a week, in-game week, you know, like that's a bit of, like, you know, something to shoot for. Like, I took way too long, to the point where, like, aspects of the story start to get kind of weird. Like, it's like, how serious is this plague if dude can just kind of live for a month and not really worry about it? Like, you know, like, it doesn't get progressively worse or anything, because that would get kind of annoying. But I don't know, like, within the confines of, you know, its own systems and whatever, it kind of makes sense, and it's pretty unique. Like, I have become a big fan of first-person games that aren't about shooting stuff. Like, there's a bit of like, I guess you could call it melee combat or something, but really like you find a knife or a hatchet or something, and that is basically just useful for warding off the creature long enough to go run and hide somewhere. Like there's no way to defeat enemies or go hunting or anything. It is just, you know, you throw something at it. Like there's a bunch of achievements for throwing stuff at the beast, just kind of like futilely, like, I don't know, I'm going to throw this can at it. All right, I got to run. Like frantically running away from stuff is the name of the game here. And also like having to worry about frantically running off of a ledge or down a hill. It's too steep a hill, so you start tumbling head over heels. Like that momentum system is really impressive. Like, again, the most realistic running around and walking I have had in a like ever seen in a video game. Like to the point where like, I mean, I guess it could be considered kind of frustrating. Like this would not be perfect for all games, obviously, but it kind of just really highlights how streamlined a lot of stuff is, like basic stuff is in video games. Like it's just like, oh no, you don't need to worry about where you're going. We'll show you. Oh, you don't need to worry about like tripping or like, you know, falling or anything. Why would that happen? Like it's just like the way your character feels is pretty extraordinary, like pretty unique. I don't know. I got pulled right in. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's available on Steam. Good old games. Miasmata. First-person adventures. This is a great trend. I hope it continues. Thanks.